Hi, I'm Eric Lanask here in New York City at Cloud Expo. I'm at the Broadsoft booth now. On my left is Dwayne McCaig, and I've got Sam Gourlay with me on my right. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So, let me start off. Let's talk a little bit about WebRTC. Let's start off with what's going on. WebRTC was one of those technologies that caught a lot of hype early on. We're starting to see a lot of real work around WebRTC, but is the hype cycle still quite as high as it was?
I think so. I think what's nice is that it is starting to become a little bit more commonplace. We're starting to see more people knowing about the technology, more in the user community than just more instead of the development area. We're showing and being able to show how easy WebRTC is to use in collaboration, and we have products that actually can do that today.
How does WebRTC fit into the overall sort of sphere of communications tools that businesses are starting to use?
Well, with Broadsoft, what we're doing is we're using it in a couple of different ways. So we use it in a collaborative environment so that in the unified communications product suite that we offer, users within the business environment can use it by inviting guests from the outside, joining in via an email with a link, and using a Chrome browser, and being able to participate with audio, video, and desktop collaboration sessions. It's very seamless, and it has a pretty good user experience. We're also looking at, with WebRTC, the ability to start using what we call a Chrome dialer. So now instead of installing a thick client on a PC, opening up a browser, logging into WebRTC, now you can start using it as a telephone on our broad platform, BroadWorks platform.
Sam, so as far as the BroadWorks platform goes, where does WebRTC fit in? It doesn't seem anymore to be necessarily a standalone technology or communications technology, rather something that is becoming integrated into broader platforms.
Absolutely. So kind of straying away a little bit from WebRTC, talking about our broad cloud product, we're taking our BroadWorks based, which has been traditionally a wonderful product for our service providers, and we're now offering it up on the cloud. So rather than having, we were targeting some of the smaller service providers, some of the new guys coming into the market, so that way they can compete. We thought that would just go over fantastic. But what we found is that some of the larger service providers are also very interested in the product, just because we can get it up and running in as little as 90 days. Matter of fact, we've had it up and running, and it's a lot shorter time, but 90 days is realistic. We house our BroadWorks platform, but we do pretty much everything else for the service provider and get them involved as much or as little as they want, giving basically a web portal to the entire system. It's a great, and we've got it right behind us here. Includes our unified communications product as well.
Are there plans, or are you working on integrating WebRTC into the platform?
Oh, absolutely. We're bringing the entire BroadWorks platform, slowly integrating it up into BroadCloud. And rather than just take BroadWorks and say, it's up in the cloud, you get everything, we're slowly testing it all out to make sure we give a quality product to our end users rather than just assume everything is going to be good. We're testing it out prior to launching it.
Based on what you've said, sounds like an opportunity for really quick ROI for the providers.
Oh, absolutely. So you're looking at an end-user experience that is going to be far above both in audio and video quality than, I'm not going to mention my competition, but we're striving for the highest quality for the end user that we can possibly get out there.
Great. When we're talking about WebRTC and especially the end-user experience, do you have to explain that you're using WebRTC anymore, or is that simply you're providing a service?
I think we have to introduce it briefly, but once we start to show it, it's very user-friendly. People know, and it's very intuitive, so people know how it's going to work. The icons, we keep it very simple. In essence, you have 3 buttons on there, audio, video, and then you can mute. You can see all the collaborations going on. It's in a single screen. There's no jumping around to be part of that user group collaboration that's going on.
What are the use cases, the most common use cases for WebRTC that you're seeing?
Well, we're looking at primarily, or at least at Broadsoft, we're focusing a lot on the collaboration with and bringing it into our unified communications offering. We are seeing other service providers looking at using our WebRTC for call center environments. A lot of hosted call center groups are looking at remote agents, then sending out like proprietary telephones, PCs, encryption to log in remotely, and now they're looking to use WebRTC and a Chromebook to send out to those remote agents. They can log in via Chrome browser to use all call center functionality, but at the same time be able to use the audio and video of WebRTC for the call. It's quick, easy setup, and very intuitive in those call center environments.
So, Sam, getting back to the whole UC environment, certainly mobility is a key part of unified communications. How do you handle the mobility requirements that come with an industry that is rolling out or introducing, heaven knows how many new mobile devices on a weekly basis?
Well, as far as the cloud side of our operation goes, prior to launching, now this is not strictly UC, but prior to launching, we do have analytic tools that go out and they take a look at the end user's network, allowing us the opportunity to say whether it's going to be a good fit or whether changes have to take place prior to launching. Because there's nothing worse than a service provider going out, capturing the sale and saying this is great, and then it's a bad fit for the end user because of some type of compliance or some type of network limitation. So we do have analytic tools that provide access prior to launch, as well as once we've already launched the product, monitoring the system to make sure that we don't get a choke point with bandwidth or what have you. So we're doing a really good job of that, and we're loving the feedback that we're getting from the end users.
What's the biggest benefit to bringing BroadWorks into the cloud environment?
It's being able to launch in a very, very short time frame, as well as a very inexpensive way of launching. So our service providers that are getting into that industry don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on servers. We take care of all of that, as well as we take care of all of the testing. So we handle all of that. It's a nice, clean system that gets launched where the service provider could be as little as 2 guys and somebody selling the product. So you don't have to be a huge operation to now be a service provider.
And Dwayne, WebRTC seems to have evolved from a situation where it's sort of going to be a standalone, very dominant technology is what a lot of people initially thought, to where it really is becoming, we're seeing it start to become integrated as part of a much broader communications platform, as Sam alluded to as well. How do you see WebRTC continuing to evolve?
I see it as it's still continuing to enhance the product that we have today. It is reducing the software that we have to actually push out to the end user clients, making it, again, providing the same capability, but keeping it as a thin client. They just pop open a web browser, log in, and they have the same full functionality as a regular desktop client user does. So I think that's the biggest benefit we're seeing, and that's where the drive seems to be with WebRTC. It's to take it and enhance the existing offering that we have.
Is there a way to monetize WebRTC on its own?
We actually have some service providers looking at that as an option. So as formally as our product, we're setting it up. We're enabling service providers and developers a platform to kind of work on opportunities that the market is offering.
Excellent. Dwayne, Sam, thank you so much for joining me.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Appreciate it.